Thursday, February 13th. In France, Marshal Pétain and Admiral Darlan meet with General Franco in Montpellier. They agree to maintain friendly relations with the Third Reich. In Berlin, during a meeting of SS commanders, Reich Führer Himmler declares it is necessary to proceed with the elimination of Jews without exception and orders officer and director Rudolf Haab to prepare the concentration camp of Auschwitz in Poland mass extermination. In the United States, President Roosevelt orders ships from the American fleet to keep a close watch on shipping in the Panama Canal. Meanwhile, American intelligence services warn about the possibility of an impending Japanese attack against Singapore or the Dutch East Indies. In Australia, the Wartime Council meets to analyze the strategy that would have to be followed if a war in the Pacific were to break out. In the Sea War, German planes and submarines sink 13 ships, part of an Allied convoy off the coast of Portugal. Friday, February 14th. In Berghof, Hitler's residence in the Obersalzberg in the Bavarian Alps, the Nazi leader meets with the Yugoslav Prime Minister Dragiša Cvetković. The conversation between the two leaders takes place in Hitler's private library, surrounded by the complete works of Shakespeare, some by Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Karl May, and others about Frederick the Great. The Nazi leader has little success persuading the Yugoslav Prime Minister to incorporate his country into the Tripartite Pact. The Bulgarian government is reluctant to allow Third Reich troops to cut its borders en route to Greece. The British government tries to persuade Ireland to allow ships coming from the United States to anchor in the country's ports, but President De Valera opposes Churchill's demands. In North Africa, the first contingents of Afrika Korps troops arrive in Tripoli in Libya and take up positions in the city. Saturday, February 15th. In Romania, British diplomats residing in Bucharest leave the country following the rupture in diplomatic relations between the two countries. In the United States, after receiving reports from Colonel Donovan, the Chief of Intelligence Service, Roosevelt sends a message of support to the Turkish President İsmet İnönü and to Prince Paul of Yugoslavia, in the hope that these countries will collaborate with Britain in defending Greece in the event of it being attacked by Germany. Meanwhile, The situation in the Pacific is the subject of a conference presided over by U.S. Secretary of State Cordell Hull, the British Ambassador Lord Halifax, and the Australian Foreign Minister Frederick Stewart. The government of Santo Domingo opens all ports on the islands to American ships. The government of New Zealand puts its troops on alert in view of the tensions building up in the Pacific. In North Africa, the battle for Benghazi in Libya has allowed Allied troops to seize large amounts of weaponry from the Italians. In the eastern area, South African troops occupy the port of Kismayu, 500 kilometers south of Mogadishu in Italian Somalia. Sunday, February 16th. In Berlin, Hitler awards the anthropologist and researcher Hans Gunther the Goethe Medal for Art and Science. The Pope of the Race, as he is known, is one of the main ideologues of the Third Reich's racist policies. During the ceremony, Alfred Rosenberg, one of his most fervent followers, praises his work as indispensable for Nazi doctrine. The concentration and extermination camp of Majdanek in Poland starts to function. In the Battle of Britain, Luftwaffe aircraft unleash a heavy attack on airfields and ports in southeast England, which also comes under fire from long-range artillery along the northern coasts of Europe. The RAF responds by bombing military targets in Belgium and the Netherlands. The governments of Bulgaria and Turkey begin negotiations for a non-aggression pact. In East Africa, British troops advance from the north towards Keren in the region of Anseba in Eritrea, while in Abyssinia, Ethiopia in the Blue Nile area, Sudanese defense units occupy Kaysan. Monday, February 17th. In Washington, the Senate discusses the government's proposal of shipping surplus agricultural produce to Britain. In Tokyo, the Assistant Foreign Minister, Osushi, declares in Parliament that Japan has an interest in the Philippine Islands and the neighboring states. Pressured by Germany, the governments of Turkey and Bulgaria sign a friendship and non-aggression pact in which Turkey promises not to consider the passage of German troops through Bulgaria a hostile act. Both governments order troops stationed on the border to withdraw. In North Africa, the press in French Morocco has been publishing calls for young men to join the armed forces serving in different colonies. German planes attack British positions in the region of Cyrenaica in Libya. Tuesday, February 18th. The American government establishes no-go areas in the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, through which only authorized shipping may pass. At a meeting of Soviet commanders, Dmitry G. Pavlov, recently promoted to General and Commander-in-Chief of the Western Military District, calls for the immediate construction of roads to move troops to the western borders of Russia. Stalin, convinced that Hitler's forces will attack through the south, orders positions in the Ukraine to be reinforced. The communist leader is not prepared to yield territory to the Germans, and while he believes that his troops are capable of mobilizing swiftly, he is aware of the lack of resources to make the necessary improvements in infrastructure. Nevertheless, he orders the construction of barracks on the new western frontier to be speeded up. In North Africa, Rommel prepares strategy for the 7th Panzer Division, the Africa Corps. Although his orders are to provide support for the Italians against the Allied army and not to intervene in the decisions of their commanders, Rommel sends out patrols to study the situation of the enemy.